Hello everyone. Welcome to another one of our Facebook Lives on Tuesdays. I was thinking about this morning that, my gosh, we've been doing these for, I don't know, like 9 months or something, and thanks to you, we're still doing them because you still are watching, so we really appreciate it. And I know a lot of you are watching it on YouTube afterwards, and even on our website we post it as well, so thank you very much for watching. Last Friday was the launch of our So Confident Series 10 February series on joggers. So those of you who are signed up both as a yearly or either as a yearly member or a monthly member, you would have gotten your notice to open up that video. I've gotten some nice comments from people, so apparently it's okay, pretty good, I guess. Lots of pictures are being posted on the private Facebook page, so that has turned out to be a really, really fun page to watch. You all are into it and I love it. And all the fabrications and alterations and variations of the Mason tops. We'll have to see what the joggers are going to do on the variations there, but it's really been fun to see. So thanks so much for becoming involved in that. Really appreciate it. There's still time to sign up for So Confident Series 10. Joggers this month. Next month is a wonderful loose flowing jacket, and next Tuesday in Facebook Live I'll be showing you those two jackets because on Monday, which is March 1st, those of you who are signed up will know more about it. And let's see, this Thursday is our Zoom call, our question and answer Zoom calls. We have 2 times that you can check in with us, so I hope to see you live. I love seeing who checks in on that and saying hi to my friends and new friends, so thanks for that. I'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday. So Sally Thompson in Florida, good friend of mine, sent me a link to an article that all of you should check out. It was in the New Yorker magazine, February 17th, and it's called "These Aren't Sweatpants, They're Joggers," which of course just plays right into what we're making in So Confident in February. And it is really hilarious. And I won't read you the whole thing, but I will read you one thing. So according to the 2012 report from the USA Fabric Association that this author was reading, instead of doing her laundry, sweatpants typically are 95% cotton and 5% spandex. My pants, on the other hand, must be joggers because they are 95% cotton and 5% elastane, which is what people in Europe call spandex. So I thought that was just one of the funny comments. And it is true that spandex, elastic, elastane are all the same thing, but elastane is the high-end version of that word. So of course we like to use that as well because we think we're high-end around here. But check out that article, it's really funny. So inspiration for Tuesdays come in funny ways to me. When I disconnect from this Facebook time, I'm already thinking about next Tuesday and what we're going to do. But for this one, this came actually over the weekend when I was driving to Arkansas and back. First of all, Kansas was in this winter snowstorm, blizzard sort of thing last week. It was frigid cold, lots of snow, everything was white. And of course, if you live in Kansas, you think it's beautiful, and it was. In Arkansas, they had 13 inches of snow, and it was interesting to see that because where I go in Arkansas is in the mountains, the Ozark Mountains, and it was totally gorgeous. Lots of you know that I make little textile collages in my spare time, my little hobby. And so, inspired by the whites of the snow and the trees and the landscape of Arkansas and the mountains, and in driving home, I made my little textile collage. And of course, it's black and white. And there's even a little bit of blue tint if you really look at snow in Kansas or anywhere else in the United States, as a matter of fact. So I was thinking, oh, black and white. You know, I love color. I'm an interior designer by training and practiced that for a long time, and so color was always a big deal. But there are days when it's just really nice to think about a more minimalist approach to how you dress, and black and white does that for me. So today I have on my black olive top, which is in a black viscose jersey. And you can see that this top has this little cutout, has a zipper, which you probably can't see because it's also black. And it's a non-functioning zipper. It doesn't require unzipping to put the garment on. So if you do a featured zipper, it can really be fun. And asymmetric hems, longer sleeves with a little bit of a vent, and they bell out, and a nice scoop neck. And this is a really nice fitting t-shirt, but it's part of the Alex and Olive pattern. So you get two different looks in that pattern, but the olive is the one I have on. I also have on the pencil pants today in a black and white check. Now, some of you may remember these because I wear these pretty much year round. And I have a fabric that just came in that's going to be perfect for this, which I'll show you in a little bit. But the pencil pants are a download pattern. They're kind of skinny, and it has a nice waistband treatment to it that has a casing that's 1.5 inches wide, and then elastic that's only 3/4 inch wide that's actually zigzag sewn to the inside of the casing, and it's a very, very comfortable pant to wear. It's really one of my favorite skinny pants. And I have on a scarf. And what's funny about this is that Aaron said to me this morning, how do you have a scarf that looks like one of our fabrics? How did you do that? And I said, well, let's see. Last night, I said to my husband, I need 10 minutes in my sewing room. I'm going to serge up a little fabric. So I took this fabric and cut one panel, which is only about this wide, 24 inches or so. Cut one panel, literally 3 threads serged, very narrow, around all 4 edges, and called it a scarf. That to me is a great accessory. A scarf like this in a store would be many more dollars than one panel of that fabric. So my scarf for the day. So Erin thought, oh gosh, she really did well today. She has the matching scarf to some fabric that we have. It's the fabric. All right, I'm going to show you some garments. I'm going to show you some fabric, and I'm going to show you a little technique about how to alter a collar, neckline, if something is dragging back on you. So this whole black and white thing, if you really Google black and white garments, a lot is going to come up. And one of the looks that is really common is a garment that is literally ebony and ivory, two-sided. Alex, my daughter, made this one. This is an ET pattern, which normally has a nice shape to it, a nice curved shape. Alex just boxed this out and drew the line straight down, and so now it no longer has the side curves. But she left the curve of the bottom hem, which is really nice. And I like the way she did the opposing color of sleeve onto the side. But if you check the internet and check fashion in black and white, you'll see a lot of these seriously white and seriously black color blocked garments. But I think this would be great to wear with the black and white check pants. She did lengthen the sleeves as well to just slightly below the elbow, because normally the ET has a shorter sleeve. And in a previous Facebook Live, I've talked to you about how to lengthen sleeves, so you can probably check back about that. We have a black viscose knit, we have a black or a white or an off-white knit that are on sale today, so you would be able to make something like that as well. You could take any t-shirt pattern that you have and simply split it down the middle, add seam allowances, and sew them together. So it's a look that can easily happen. Another look that I like, that we don't talk about very often, but this is the San Diego jacket, but it's a shirt. So in the pattern, you have 3 versions. You have a jacket, and you have a top, and a tunic. This is actually the jacket, but it's made in a shirt weight fabric. This is just a little bit of a black and white strié. We don't have this fabric anymore. The closure is asymmetric. You can close up the line to have more of a funnel neck, or you can leave that open. But I have made a lot of these, and this is just a great, simple shirt to make. If I were to make this in one of the fabrics that we have, I would consider this black and white dot, which is actually a polyester, but it has the look and feel of a rayon challis, which is very drapey and very nice. So San Diego jacket made as a shirt. For those of you who have made your Maison top in January, this might have been your kit. We still have these kits. This is the black and white stripe for the body, but originally when, I think I made this actually, or did you make it, Erin? I can't remember. I think I made it. I made it with the striped sleeves. And Erin put it on, and there was something about it that just didn't feel quite right. So I ripped the sleeves out and put the solid black on it, and it changed how it looked. It was so much better. It didn't seem so broad and so, I don't know, so wide or something. I think the black sleeves really settled it down. And of course, I think I changed the bottom band as well, because this was also a stripe originally. So this kit still is available if you still want to make your Maison top, or you can just order the fabric. One of the things that I like, and because I was inspired by the blue tones of the snow, is we think about what kinds of colors to put with black and white normally, and the immediate thought is red. But think about combining it with a blue. I think that is a sort of an unexpected combination and really, really gorgeous. This is a blue cotton and elastane. Actually, I think we say spandex on the tag, but you know, we're in Europe this morning. So cotton and elastane, make your joggers, make pants, make pencil pants. But that elastane or spandex, the elastic fiber that's in these cottons, means that this is going to have better recovery than a cotton fabric that doesn't have an elastic product in it. So think about that when you're buying your cottons or any kind of knit as well. If you have 3 to 5% of an elastic product, then things are going to recover a lot better and they're not going to bag out so much. Another garment that I really like, that I've had for a while, is the Anne's cardigan. Now this is a ponte knit, so it's a little heavier than the jersey knits, but still drapey. In this garment, you do see the wrong side because the front band does fold back. But in these pontes, these are woven this way or knitted this way, so they're not printed, and you don't have a problem seeing the wrong side of it. I'm going to put this garment on and show you how it's just a great garment to throw on over most anything. And people always are afraid of the horizontal stripes. But with this garment, you can see that things happen to the stripes because of the shape of these pieces. So you get a very vertical drape to this. And I think this has a nice neckline. I like things that come up around my neck. It tends to keep me warmer. It also covers up the neck thing. So I like this. So what have I put with this? One of the other colors that you're seeing for spring is what I call tennis ball green. You know, I'm a tennis player, so I know what tennis balls are. And this is the color that I'm seeing combined with black and white. This sort of celery, it's not lime, it's not hot green, but this more celery green, and I think it's really beautiful. This is a slightly different fabric, but you can get the idea that this happens to be a swing tee. But I do wear it under the Anne's cardigan, and you can get a little bit of black and white stripe, a different proportion of stripe, or use the same stripe, actually, it wouldn't matter, for the neckline. I think that really tops that off and really gives it a great accent. But these viscose knits are beautiful to work with. I'm actually making an ET at home as we speak in this color. This is rayon of bamboo and 5% elastane. There we go. All right, so that's the Anne's cardigan. We do have currently this black and white stripe. It's a little bit different, a little narrower stripe than the one I just had on, but it is the one we have in stock now, and it's a really beautiful fabric. We get this from a very special mill, and it's a wonderful ponte. Again, both sides. You can't really tell the difference. And most pontes, they're not really a true right or wrong side. So you could use either side and you would never know the difference. So this fabric will be on sale this week too. Now this is a garment that I like, and especially thinking spring, where you want a light wrap or an oversized piece to wear over anything. This is the Balboa topper. Now, it is a really, really big garment. People always email me and say, is it really 60 inches in circumference? And it really is. But you make it in the right fabrics, and this is one of these fantastic pieces to wear over so many things. This one's been blocked a little bit with black and white check, another striped fabric. It has really deep pockets, but this is the kind of thing that I throw on to walk out the door, throw it on over jeans, joggers, sweatpants, whatever, and you're looking good. So we have a couple of checks here, ginghams. The top one here is a cotton with spandex, and so it has a little bit of stretch to it. Has a vertical stretch. Now that is interesting. That's unusual. I wouldn't really use this. I would have to, if I used it and needed the stretch, I would have to turn it and cut this on the cross grain so that the stretch went around my body. But really, I would just use this fabric as a check and wouldn't really consider whether it had the spandex or not. This is about a 1/4 inch scale check. And then we have the 1/2 inch scale cotton. This is men's shirting. So this is not printed, and that's really the difference between shirtings and quilt fabrics, for example. So this looks the same on both sides. It's woven, and it's beautiful, and it comes from a nice shirt manufacturer back east. So these two checks would be great to work with this. And of course, we have all kinds of lovely black things that also work. And you might have a scrap of something that you could incorporate. Now the pattern is not cut up like this. We've done this, but so you could just make the whole garment out of anything you wanted. And because of this piece here, then I've paired this with this color. So it just gives it a little bit of a kick. So that's the Balboa. Another favorite of mine is the Venice. Now the Venice has a lot of buttons. It has double buttons, so it takes me a minute to get this unbuttoned, but this is a classic shirt in the sense that it has a collar and a stand and a front placket. You can wear it as a jacket, or you can wear it as a shirt. But what's interesting about this piece is the ruffles. Now, not everybody's into ruffles, but ruffles are all over the place in fashion. So this was about the most in terms of a ruffle that I was willing to do in one of our patterns. I love the way the back sweeps up, and then there's a little placket there that has about 3 buttons. Has a wonderful scale of collar and stand. And it has the classic vent and good cuff. Nice narrow cuff. I love this shirt. Make this obviously in the check, but this would also be great in this beautiful stripe. This is a silk and cotton. Let me check that. Silk and rayon. So it has a lot of drape. But this has a fantastic little selvage on it that I would preserve and use. I might use it down the center front. I might incorporate it somehow into the ruffle or the cuff or the stand, but somehow I would try to use this or use it on something else as well. But I'm crazy about the fact that this has a colorful selvage, which I don't completely understand, because usually selvages have the colors individually that are used in a print, and for whatever reason, this is a colorful. It's kind of like Paul Smith. If you follow the fashion designer Paul Smith, he uses a lot of these bright colors for his bags and socks and garments and so forth. So I love that. There are a couple of fabrics here that I think might be interesting for this garment. So this is a black and white, beautiful floral, but every so often, every 30 inches or so, is this insertion of this stripe. Now, wouldn't that be fun to make a shirt or a dress or a tunic in the black and white and use this portion for the ruffle or the cuff or the collars or pockets or whatever. So this has a lot of potential because of the way this is built. We've noticed that there are so many more panel type prints these days. We're seeing them in fashion, and we're seeing them because of how we buy some of our fabrics from the designers in New York, that we get some of these designer fashions, and there are so many panel prints. This is another one that has some interesting possibilities. It's not really a panel print, but it definitely, it's a vertical black and white stripe with this meandering floral that I think is fantastic. This would make a beautiful Balboa and incorporate some of these floral pieces where you might just cut a section and put that in the Balboa, and the rest of it would be the black and white stripe. Or again, this could be part of a ruffle to make a great San Diego shirt or dress. But this is all cotton, I'm pretty sure. Let me check. I don't know. I think it is. Not marked. Okay, that's Venice. And the last one, I have a drag on my knit shirt here. The last one is the Frankie. And you can see that this is done in a stripe, but the stripes have been changed. Erin made this. So she used the vertical stripe on the right side, horizontal stripe on the left side, and inserted the check. This is a very interesting sleeve on this Frankie. It's a two-piece sleeve, but you can see where the seams are really on the diagonal and kind of askew, and the bottom doesn't line up. So if you're not very good at lining up edges, this is the sleeve for you. And then this wonderful check back. This is open a little bit, so it's like a vent, but it is overlapped. And then there's a pleat. So there's a lot going on in this garment. This has a nice collar to it, but no stand. So if you're afraid of stands, you would like this collar as well. So I could see, of course we have the checks, but you know, I love this fabric for just being a white shirt. I know you can't see this from afar, and particularly on camera, but these are a very Asian style lotus blossom jacquard weave that's built into this cotton, almost batiste-like fabric. It's really, really beautiful. It's simple, but it's elegant. And I intend to make a great white shirt out of this. Everybody needs to make their one great white shirt for the summer. This is also an interesting piece. This is viscose, super drapey. That's the one nice thing about viscose. But this very abstract houndstooth pattern, I think that would be really interesting as well. So those are those. Now, take a look at this wonderful thing. I've never seen anything like this. This is called Tree of Life, and this is a panel. And Erin and I were talking about what we would do with this. If you love it like it is, then of course this would be fantastic on the Balboa because the Balboa has a broad back to it, and there would be plenty of room to have all of this motif. But it could also think about cutting this up so that you're not even thinking about what the motif really is. A portion of your garment could be patterned. A portion of it could have this bird. A portion of it could be white. I think it has real opportunities to just slice and mix it up and forget that it was ever a tree. Or you can buy a panel and hang it on your wall. That's how cool it is. I really have never seen anything like this, but this is kind of an example of some of the things that we're getting out of New York now. So many of these panel prints. It's really, really interesting. So this is all cotton. Very nice weight of, I'll call it sateen, but it's not heavy. It's very light. It has a nice little satin finish to it. All right, so let's look at a couple more fabrics. This is the fabric that we have that is as close as I've been able to find to the pants that I have on. It's a little bit different, but honestly, you would never know. Now, this is kind of a mystery fabric to us because I think this is, it is a knit. It came to us as a ponte. It doesn't really feel like a ponte. It has a little bit of a texture to it, but it is a knit. And it has a stretch, has a lot of stretch, so it is perfect for the pencil pants. And I'm very excited about getting this fabric in because I've been looking for the substitute for what I have on for like a year, and we finally found it. So here it is, and it's going to be on sale this week, so I hope you take advantage of it. I think of all the pants that I have, these are the pants that I wear with the most things. There's something about a black and white little check that just works with everything. And another fabric color, this is called Wild Violet. And when you look at the Pantone colors of the year and the season, you know, I get a lot of inspiration from going to the Sherwin-Williams or Benjamin Moore paint sites, and they have gorgeous interiors, they have color themes, color trends, both interiors and exteriors. And I get a lot of inspiration for how to combine colors, and Wild Violet is a color of the year. So that to me with the black and white is another wonderful mix. So you don't have to do red, you don't have to do the more programmed color that we always know about. Think about the celery green and the Wild Violet as your accent colors. So now I want to talk about something that you might want to think about. Can you see how this collar is standing away? Now, this doesn't stand away on every person, but it does on some people. And actually, as I study this pattern, I think that this particular neckline is too low. If you have a curved back, you're curved high or even low, you have a tendency for collars to stand away from you. So I'm going to talk about something that you can do to alter your patterns to help that situation. So let me get organized here. I've got a few pieces of paper. So the back of the, can you see this, Erin, if I do this? No, try this. No, all right, I'm going to just show it to you. So you can see the pieces of the back of the Frankie. It's a very different construction. So this is the back piece, and this is the center back, and this is part of that whole inverted pleat situation here. So this pleat right here is actually the center back. So in order to know what the distance of the neckline is, you need to attach the front back piece to that. And I drew a line 1.25 inches from this edge, which is 2 seam allowances. So it's the same thing as sewing a 5/8 inch seam and folding it. If you overlap a pattern 1.25 inches, you're getting that same take up of 2 seam allowances. So I would tape my pattern together, and then take another piece of paper and actually trace the back neck. So I'm going to go from the center back to here and just trace that. Now, everybody's going to do a different dimension of raising this. I've raised this about 3/8 of an inch, so I get a little more fabric that comes up the back of the neck. This could be a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, whatever you need. So the next step is to put your tracing under your neckline. And now you're going to trace and place that to the new point of where you're raising it. Match this point at the shoulder and then trace. And I don't know if you can see this, but there's a solid line and a little dotted line. So the solid line is where the tracing ended. And you can see that, I'm sorry, I've said that wrong. The dotted line is where the tracing ended. But the center back is 1/8 of an inch inside of that. So that tells me that the circumference of the neckline has changed, and so I need to change the collar. So if this is 1/8 of an inch times 2, because you would have the other half of the neckline, you would need to take off 1/4 of an inch from the actual collar piece at the center back. And that's how much you would know how to take off. Now you could measure it, but this is pretty accurate right here when you're tracing a neckline. This whole tracing of curves thing is something that we're kind of known for. Why reinvent things when you can use the same shape? Now you know the collar will fit, and the original neckline was built in this shape. It's just in a different place. So that's how you would do that. So that's the Frankie. And this concept can be used for any pattern. All right, I think I've shown you everything. So do we have any questions?
Sorry, a little late on getting my mic on. A lot of people love the black and white. Very inspired by the black and white. They had some questions about the Tree of Life panel, but it looks like that got answered by Betsy.
Okay.
Thank you, Betsy, for doing that. Is the houndstooth black and white, or does it have gray in it?
The houndstooth is definitely black and white. It may come off as gray on a screen, but the yarn colors are black and white.
And I don't know if they had any other questions. I know that the check back there looks a little, I think the smaller one.
Well, this one does have,
a similar
it
look.
has white and black, and then it alternates with gray. And that's just because of the weave. I'm sure it's only been used with black and white, or woven with black and white. But when certain things have crossed in certain directions, it turns into gray in the case of both of these. So we call it a black and white check. But I guess in theory, it's black, gray, and white check.
Okay, when hemming a fabric with large blocks of each color, how do you choose whether to use black thread or white thread?
Well, that's complicated. Generally, I go with white because I think that white thread on black looks better than black thread on white. But, well, that's sort of a general concept for all thread. If I have a choice between a light color and a dark color on fabric, I'm probably going to go with the lighter color. But I had to think about what I wanted to do on this particular scarf because I had black and white to serge. And because of its linear qualities, I decided that a black edge on the white was just fine. So I think you have to think about where it is, the kind of garment it is, how much black, how much white, are they even? But I'm going to say generally I'm going to go light on dark. All right, so we have lots of patterns on sale this week. All the ones that I've shown, the Balboa, Alex and Olive, Anne's Cardigan, E.T., San Diego, Frankie, Pencil, and Venice. That's a big lineup of patterns on sale. Some are download, some are printed, some are both. For instance, the Balboa is print, Alex and Olive is print, Anne's is print, E.T. is digital, San Diego is print. Frankie is both. Pencil is digital, Venice is both. So kind of a combo. All the fabrics that I've talked about, including the solid black, solid white, solid blue, the black and white stripe, and all the ones on the wall, and all the ones that I've shown are on sale. And then we have two tutorials on sale. We have a tutorial called Sleeve Plackets, and it has a couple of ways to do sleeve plackets. This version, which is just a simple binding on an edge, and then also in that tutorial is the classic men's shirt placket, and the pattern for that is included in that tutorial. And it's I think it's a great tutorial. And then we have one called Perfect Corners, how to get perfect corners on your collar points, and other places as well. So those two tutorials are also on sale for the next week.
Okay. We did have somebody ask about that medium size check. That should be in the sale category along with everything else. If not, we can make sure it's there.
Yeah.
And then we did have somebody ask again about your scarf. You just used one panel, correct?
I just used one panel. And one panel, this is a cotton and silk, I believe. Cotton and silk. This is so soft and smooth, but this is one panel. Now, this is a whole width and this long, but we're selling it by the panel. But you could make a fantastic garment out of this as well. But I just saw it as a scarf, and it feels so good on.
One more. I think it's the Tree of Life that they're asking about. Is that see-through, or is it?
Not especially. I wouldn't. No, I mean maybe. Mm-hmm. If you wore red undergarments, maybe, but no, not really.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks so much for tuning in. We'll see you next Tuesday.